The message came through space faster than light itself, carried by strange waves that human scientists barely understood. Admiral Kate Morrison stood in the command center of the Starship Endeavour, watching the alien symbols dance across her screen. The translation software worked slowly, turning the foreign marks into words she could read. "Greetings to the young species of Earth," the message began. "You have been watched for 100 of your years. Your people have shown they can split the atom and reach beyond their world. The Galactic Council of Advanced Species now invites you to present yourselves for evaluation." Kate felt her heart beat faster. This was the moment humanity had dreamed about since the first person looked up at the stars. First contact with alien life. But something about the message felt cold, like a teacher calling a student to the front of the class. "Admiral, we're getting more data," said Commander Jake Phillips from his station. He was a good officer, steady under pressure. "The message includes coordinates for a space station. It's huge, bigger than anything we've ever built." Dr. Lisa Chang moved closer to read the data. She was the best scientist they had for studying alien life. "The station is called Nexus Prime. It orbits a planet about 60 light-years from Earth. The message says we have 30 days to arrive." Kate studied the information. 30 days was not much time, but the Endeavour was ready. They had been preparing for this mission for 5 years. The ship carried humanity's best technology and brightest minds. More importantly, it carried hopes that had been building for generations. "What do we know about this council?" Kate asked. Lisa pulled up her research files. "We've detected signals from 12 different alien species over the past 50 years. They all seem to work together somehow. The council appears to be very old, maybe millions of years old." Jake looked worried. "The message mentions evaluation. That sounds like we're taking a test." "Maybe we are," Kate said. "Every species probably has to prove they deserve to join the galactic community." The more Kate read the message, the more questions she had. The aliens spoke about evaluation and probationary periods. They mentioned standard protocols and proper procedures. It all sounded very formal and bureaucratic. But there was something else, something that bothered her. "They've been watching us for 100 years, she said out loud, "since we developed nuclear weapons. Why wait until now to make contact?" Lisa had been thinking the same thing. Maybe they wanted to see if we would destroy ourselves first. A lot of species probably don't make it past nuclear weapons. The command center buzzed with activity as the crew prepared for departure. The Endeavour was humanity's most advanced ship, powered by fusion drives and protected by energy shields. It carried representatives from every major nation on Earth, along with scientists, diplomats, and soldiers. Kate walked to the main viewing window and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, ancient civilizations had built an empire that spanned the galaxy. They had technologies humans could barely imagine. They had seen the rise and fall of countless species. Now they were ready to judge humanity. "Admiral," Jake called out, "we're receiving additional data about the council members. The Zephyrians are beings made of pure energy. The Chronarch Empire has warriors with crystal skin. There's something called the Veil Collective that shares a group mind." Kate nodded. Each species sounded more advanced than humanity. They had probably been traveling between stars when humans were still living in caves. But humans had something special too. They had survived on a harsh world that tried to kill them every day. They had learned to adapt, to innovate, to never give up. "Set course for Nexus Prime," Kate ordered. "It's time to see what this galaxy has to offer." The Endeavour's engines came alive, bending space around the ship as they jumped to faster than light speed. Kate wondered what they would find at the alien station. The message had been polite but distant. It felt like the aliens already knew how this meeting would go. What the aliens didn't know was that humanity had been preparing for this moment longer than they realized. Earth's governments had been working together in secret, sharing technology, and planning strategies. They had built ships the aliens had never seen, and developed weapons the Council didn't know existed. The journey to Nexus Prime would take 28 days. During that time, Kate and her crew would review everything they knew about galactic civilization. They would prepare for questions, demonstrations, and negotiations. Most importantly, they would prepare to surprise beings who thought they had seen everything the universe could offer. As the stars blurred past the windows, Kate smiled. The aliens expected to meet another young species eager for guidance and protection. Instead, they were about to encounter humanity, and humans had never been good at following other people's rules. Nexus Prime stretched across space like a metal city floating among the stars. The massive station was bigger than Earth's moon, with towers that reached out in all directions. Ships from different worlds docked at thousands of ports. their alien designs unlike anything humans had ever imagined. In the heart of the station, Council Chamber 7 hummed with quiet activity. Ancient beings who had ruled the galaxy for millions of years gathered to discuss the newest species seeking membership. To them, this was just another routine evaluation. Archon Velta of the Zephyrians floated above his crystalline throne, his body shifting between different forms of pure energy. He had overseen first contact with over 300 species during his long existence. Each meeting followed the same predictable pattern. The humans should arrive within the day, Veltar announced to the assembled council. His voice echoed through the chamber like wind through crystals. Their ship matches our predictions exactly. Basic fusion drive, primitive weapons, standard hull design for their technological level. High Commander Turgash of the Chronarch Empire studied tactical displays with his 6 arms. His crystal-plated skin reflected the chamber's lights as he analyzed human military capabilities. The data showed exactly what he expected from a young species. Their weapons are crude but functional, Turgash reported. Fusion bombs, energy beams, kinetic projectiles. Nothing we haven't seen 1,000 times before. Their military tactics appear chaotic and inefficient. They will need centuries of guidance to develop proper warfare protocols. The Veil Collective's speaker drones shared information through their hive-mind connection. Thousands of individual beings linked together as one consciousness. They had studied human communications and culture for decades. Their analysis was complete and confident. Humans show dangerous levels of individualism, the speaker announced. They fight among themselves constantly, waste resources on competition, and refuse to accept unified leadership. This primitive behavior will require correction, but most species overcome such early development problems. Councillor Ithera of the Meridian Federation nodded in agreement. Her people were the galaxy's finest diplomats, skilled at guiding young species through the integration process. She had prepared the standard welcome package that every new civilization received. I have compiled the usual materials, Ithera explained. Basic star charts covering their local region, outdated technology specifications that won't threaten established trade routes, an assignment to Sector 7 where they can develop without disrupting important commerce. The council members settled into their positions with the casual confidence of beings who had done this countless times. New species always followed the same pattern. They arrived desperate for acceptance, grateful for any assistance, and eager to prove themselves worthy of galactic civilization. Dr. Kethler of the Altarian Conclave consulted his psychological profiles. His people were natural empaths who could read the emotions and intentions of other species. Their predictions about human behavior had proven accurate in every simulation. The humans will attempt to impress us with their most advanced technology, Kethler predicted. They will speak of their achievements with pride, but accept our superiority with appropriate humility. Within hours, they will be asking for protection and guidance. The probability of deviation from this pattern is less than 1%. Elder Zorth of the Kepler hegemony remained silent in his ancient seat. His species was the oldest in the galaxy, having achieved starflight when most worlds were still forming. He had seen the rise of the Council and the integration of hundreds of civilizations. To him, humans were just another young species following the same tired script. The Council's military forces maintained careful watch over human approach vectors. Standard procedure required monitoring all new species for signs of aggression or unpredictable behavior. The humans showed neither. Their single ship approached along approved routes, broadcasting peaceful intentions and requests for docking permission. They are exactly what we expected, reported Fleet Admiral Kresh of the Draconian Armada. One ship, minimal escort, standard diplomatic configuration. They pose no threat to station security or council operations. Deep in the station's intelligence centers, analysts reviewed every piece of data about human civilization. They had been monitoring Earth's radio signals for a century, tracking technological development and social evolution. Everything suggested a typical emerging species ready for guidance. Humans developed nuclear weapons in 1945 by their calendar, reported Intelligence Director Moore. They achieved spaceflight 24 years later. They established permanent orbital habitats 50 years after that. This follows the standard progression we have observed in 73% of emerging civilizations. The Council's Xen had studied human evolution and biology through careful observation. Humans appeared to be standard carbon-based life forms with typical nervous systems and social structures. Nothing about them suggested unusual capabilities or hidden advantages. They evolved on a moderately hostile world, explained Chief Biologist Yultith. This created some aggressive tendencies, but nothing we cannot manage through proper education and cultural adjustment. Most species benefit from learning to suppress their primitive survival instincts. As the human ship requested final docking clearance, the Council prepared for another routine first contact. They expected gratitude, wonder, and eager submission to galactic authority. They had procedures for handling every possible human reaction, from fear to excitement to confusion. What they didn't expect was that humans had been studying them just as carefully. While the Council monitored radio signals and observed from a distance, human intelligence agencies had been conducting the most sophisticated espionage operation in galactic history. They had mapped alien territories, cracked communication codes, and infiltrated secure networks. The Council believed they knew everything about humanity. They were about to discover that humans had learned to hide their true capabilities from the very first day they detected alien signals. The species approaching Nexus Prime was not the primitive civilization the Council expected. It was something the galaxy had never seen before, a civilization that had developed advanced technology while appearing to remain primitive. Council Chamber 7 waited in confident anticipation for humanity's arrival. In a few hours, they would begin the evaluation process that would determine Earth's place in galactic society. What they didn't realize was that the evaluation would go both ways. Humans had come to judge the Council just as much as the Council planned to judge them. 3 months before the Endeavour left Earth, President Alina Rodriguez walked through the underground tunnels of Deep Haven. The secret facility had been built inside a mountain in Colorado, hidden from satellites and alien observers. Here, humanity's greatest minds had worked for 50 years to prepare for this moment. Alina entered the main conference room, where representatives from every nation sat around a massive table. General Ben Carter from the United Defense Command studied holographic displays showing alien ship movements. Dr. Amy Watson from the Prometheus Institute reviewed quantum computer calculations that had taken months to complete. Project Wildcard is ready, Alina announced. Everything we've worked for comes down to the next 30 days. General Carter stood and activated the room's main display. Images of alien ships and space stations filled the air above the table. Each picture had been captured by human spy drones launched in secret over the past 20 years. Our deep space monitoring network has been tracking alien movements since 2051, Carter explained. We've identified 12 major species and mapped their territories. More importantly, we've been listening to their communications. Dr. Watson took over the presentation. Her quantum computers had accomplished something the aliens thought impossible. After 15 years of effort, they had broken the galactic standard encryption protocols that protected all alien communications. We can read their messages, Watson said simply. All of them. For the past 18 months, we've been monitoring council meetings, military reports, and intelligence assessments. We know exactly what they think about us. Alina felt a cold anger as she reviewed the intercepted communications. The aliens saw humans as primitive savages who needed guidance and control. They planned to keep Earth isolated for centuries while they decided humanity's fate. Several council members had suggested eliminating humans entirely if they proved too troublesome. They've done this before, Alina said. Other species have been destroyed for showing too much independence. Commander Lucy Foster from Human Intelligence Division had spent 10 years infiltrating alien society. Her people had used advanced biomodification to pass as members of different species. They had worked as servants, technicians, and traders throughout the galaxy. The Council maintains power through information control, Foster reported. They give new species outdated technology and false star charts. They monitor everything and eliminate threats before they can develop. No emerging civilization has ever challenged their authority. Alina studied the tactical analysis. The Council controlled over 10,000 star systems and commanded fleets of ships that could destroy entire worlds. They had weapons that could manipulate matter at the atomic level and shields that could stop any known attack. Against such power, humanity seemed helpless. But humans had advantages the aliens couldn't understand. Where alien species had evolved on stable worlds with abundant resources, Earth had been a constant struggle for survival. Humans had learned to innovate, adapt, and think in ways that peaceful civilizations never developed. Dr. Watson revealed humanity's secret weapons program. While the aliens monitored human radio signals and observed Earth from a distance, they had missed the most important developments. Hidden facilities had developed technologies that didn't exist anywhere else in the galaxy. We've created quantum manipulation drives that can fold space instantly, Watson explained. Our new weapons can disrupt matter at the subatomic level. Most importantly, we've developed artificial intelligence systems that can adapt and learn in ways alien computers cannot match. The AI development had been humanity's greatest breakthrough, while alien civilizations used computers that followed predictable patterns. Human AI could think creatively and develop unexpected solutions. This came from studying human brain patterns and incorporating the chaotic elements that made humans unpredictable. The aliens value efficiency and order, Alina observed. They can't understand species that thrive on chaos and competition. That's our advantage. General Carter presented the military assessment. Earth's defenses were far more advanced than the aliens suspected. Hidden orbital platforms surrounded the solar system, armed with weapons that could destroy ships much larger than anything humanity officially possessed. If they try to force us into submission, they'll discover that we're not the primitive species they think we are, Carter said. But we prefer to avoid war if possible. The strategy was elegant. In its simplicity, humanity would appear to follow standard first contact protocols while gradually revealing their true capabilities. The aliens expected submission and gratitude. Instead, they would face a species that demanded equality and had the power to enforce it. Dr. Chang had prepared psychological profiles of every council member. Each alien species had predictable behavior patterns based on their evolutionary history. The Zephyrians valued logic and order. The Chronarch Empire respected strength and military capability. The Veil Collective could be confused by unpredictable individual actions. We know their weaknesses, Chang explained. They've been in power so long that they can't imagine being challenged. They've eliminated every species that might threaten them, so they've never learned to negotiate with equals. Foster's intelligence network had planted surveillance devices throughout Nexus Prime during routine maintenance operations. Human agents working as cleaning crews and repair technicians had installed microscopic monitors in every important facility. The Council's most secret meetings were being recorded by the species they planned to judge. They have no idea we've compromised their security, Foster reported. We can monitor their reactions in real time and adjust our strategy accordingly. Alina reviewed the final elements of Project Wild. Humanity's approach to first contact would be unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Instead of seeking approval, humans would demonstrate that they deserved respect. Instead of accepting subordination, they would demand partnership. The success of the mission depended on Admiral Morrison and her crew. They had been chosen not just for their skills, but for their ability to think creatively under pressure. The aliens expected predictable behavior from a young species. They were about to encounter humans at their most innovative and determined. The Council has ruled the galaxy for 2 million years, Alina said as the meeting concluded. They think they know how first contact works. Tomorrow, we show them that humanity doesn't follow anyone else's rules. As the representatives dispersed, to make final preparations, Alina remained in the conference room. Above her, holographic displays showed the positions of alien fleets throughout the galaxy. The Council commanded overwhelming force, but they had never faced a species that turned limitation into strength and chaos into advantage. In 30 days, the Endeavor would dock at Nexus Prime. The aliens expected to evaluate another primitive civilization seeking guidance. Instead, they would meet humanity, and humans had spent 50 years preparing to surprise beings who thought they had seen everything the universe could offer. Admiral Kate Morrison walked through the airlock connecting the Endeavor to Nexus Prime. The alien station's artificial gravity felt strange under her feet, slightly heavier than Earth normal. Behind her, Dr. Lisa Chang and Commander Jake Phillips carried equipment that looked simple but contained humanity's most advanced technology. Council Chamber 7 was enormous, with a domed ceiling that showed images of distant galaxies. Alien representatives sat in seats designed for their different body types. Some floated in energy fields, others stood on multiple legs, and a few existed as clouds of glowing particles. The humans approached the speaking platform in the center of the chamber. Kate could feel thousands of alien eyes watching their every move. The atmosphere processors adjusted automatically, ensuring the humans could breathe while maintaining comfort for the council members. Archon Veltar spoke first, his energy form shifting colors as he communicated. Welcome, representatives of Earth. You stand before the Galactic Council of Advanced Species, rulers of 10,000 star systems and guardians of galactic peace. We have observed your species for 100 years and deemed you ready for evaluation. Kate stepped forward with calm confidence. Thank you for this opportunity. Humanity is honored to address the council. The words were diplomatic, exactly what the aliens expected to hear, but Kate's tone carried something they didn't recognize. She spoke like an equal addressing peers, not a subordinate seeking approval from superiors. Dr. Chang activated her holographic display, showing Earth's solar system and human colonies on Mars and Europa. The presentation appeared routine, demonstrating basic human technology and achievements. Council members nodded approvingly, recognizing the familiar pattern of species eager to impress their betters. Humans have developed fusion power, energy, weapons, and faster-than-light travel, Chang explained. We have established colonies throughout our solar system and begun exploring nearby star systems. High Commander Targash studied the technical specifications with practiced eyes. Everything matched their intelligence reports. Humans possessed exactly the technology level expected from a species a century past. Nuclear development. But then something unexpected happened. Dr. Watson stepped forward and activated a device the aliens didn't recognize. The chamber's lights flickered once, then again. Every alien's personal communication device suddenly displayed the same message in their own language. Hello, we have been listening. The chamber erupted in confused chatter. Council members checked their devices, certain there had been some technical malfunction. The station's security systems were supposed to be impenetrable. No young species could possibly access their private networks. This must be some kind of error, Veltar announced, his energy form crackling with uncertainty. Our communication systems are protected by quantum encryption that no primitive civilization could break. Kate smiled, and the expression sent chills through beings who had never seen a human before. There's no error, Archon. We've been monitoring your communications for 18 months. Every council meeting, every intelligence report, every private conversation between members. Commander Phillips stepped forward and began displaying information that should have been impossible for humans to possess. Star charts showing secret alien military bases, records of species that had been eliminated for showing too much independence, communications discussing humanity's fate that had been exchanged just hours before this meeting. You've been planning to keep Earth isolated for 500 years, Phillips said calmly. Some of you have suggested destroying our homeworld if we prove troublesome. Council member Drexel of the Vorthan Syndicate recommended sterilizing the human infestation during yesterday's closed session. The aliens stared in shock as their most secret information was displayed before the entire council. Security protocols that had protected galactic civilization for millions of years had been compromised by a species they considered barely above animals. Dr. Chang continued the presentation with devastating precision. We know about the false star charts you give to new species. We know about the outdated technology packages designed to keep emerging civilizations dependent. We know about the 12 species you've eliminated in the past 1,000 years for showing too much independence. The council members began to realize they were facing something unprecedented. This wasn't evaluation, it was confrontation. The humans hadn't come seeking guidance or protection. They had come to negotiate from a position of knowledge and strength. Kate delivered humanity's true message with the confidence of someone holding superior cards. Earth offers genuine partnership with the Galactic Council. We will share advanced technologies that could benefit all member species. In exchange, we require immediate full membership with equal voting rights and complete territorial sovereignty. Impossible, Turgash growled, his crystal skin flashing angry colors. No emerging species has ever demanded such terms. You will accept the standard probationary period or face the consequences. Jake activated another device, and suddenly the chamber's main display showed real-time images of space around Nexus Prime. The human ship Endeavour was no longer alone. 3 additional vessels had appeared from nowhere, their designs unlike anything in the Council's databases. Our escort ships use dimensional fold technology, Jake explained. They can appear anywhere in the galaxy instantly. Your sensors didn't detect them because they weren't in normal space until 30 seconds ago. Dr. Watson stepped forward again, her expression serious but calm. The quantum manipulation drives we've developed could revolutionize galactic transportation. Our new medical technologies could extend lifespans for all species. Our artificial intelligence systems could solve computational problems that have challenged the galaxy for millennia. Kate surveyed the stunned council members. These are the technologies we're offering to share, but only as equal partners, not as subordinates grateful for whatever scraps you choose to give us. The unspoken alternative hung in the air like A physical presence. For the first time in 2 million years, the Galactic Council faced a species that could choose war over submission. The humans had demonstrated capabilities that changed the balance of power in ways the Council was still trying to understand. Veltar attempted to regain control of the situation. Even if your claims are accurate, you are still one species against 12 ancient civilizations. Your position is not as strong as you believe. Kate's smile widened, and her next words shattered the last illusions about humanity's vulnerability. Actually, we're not alone. 3 other species in the galaxy have been waiting for someone to challenge your authority. They've agreed to support Earth in exchange for the advanced technologies we're willing to share. Your empire isn't as stable as you think. The chamber fell silent as the implications became clear. The humans had done more than break the Council's codes and infiltrate their networks. They had built a coalition of species ready to overthrow the established order. For the first time in galactic history, the Council faced a real threat to their power. The presentation that was supposed to demonstrate human primitiveness had instead revealed a civilization that had spent decades preparing for this moment. The aliens who expected grateful submission were facing demands backed by hidden capabilities they were only beginning to understand. As debate erupted throughout the chamber, Kate Morrison stood calmly at the center of the storm. Humanity had come to join galactic civilization, but on their own terms. The universe would never be the same. The emergency session began at midnight station time, deep within Nexus Prime's most secure conference facility. Council members who had ruled the galaxy for millions of years found themselves facing their first real crisis in recorded history. The humans had shattered every assumption about how first contact was supposed to work. High Commander Turgash slammed his forearms against the conference table, his crystal skin glowing red with anger. We should have destroyed their homeworld the moment we detected their nuclear weapons. Now they've had a century to develop these hidden technologies. Calm yourself, Targash, Archon, Veltar urged, though his own energy form flickered with uncertainty. We need to understand what we're facing before we make any decisions. How did they break our quantum encryption? The Veil Collective's speaker. Drones process data through their hive mind connection, but their usual efficiency was hampered by something they had never experienced before. Individual human decision-making patterns were impossible to predict using collective logic. Their neural networks function differently than any species we have studied, the speaker reported. Where we value unity and efficiency, they thrive on chaos and competition. Our behavioral models cannot account for this level of unpredictability. Dr. Kethler of the Altarian Conclave shifted uncomfortably in his seat. His empathic abilities, which had successfully read every species for thousands of years, provided confusing information about the human delegation. I detect confidence backed by genuine capability, Kethler admitted. They are not bluffing or hoping for mercy. Admiral Morrison radiates the certainty of someone who has prepared for every possible outcome, including violent conflict. Councillor Ithera of the Meridian Federation studied intelligence reports that grew more disturbing by the hour. Her diplomatic corps had been analyzing human behavior patterns since the meeting began, but nothing made sense according to established xenological principles. They shouldn't exist, Ithara said quietly. Every species in galactic history has evolved toward cooperation and unity. Competition and individual thinking are evolutionary dead ends. How did they develop advanced technology while maintaining such chaotic social structures? Intelligence Director Morden activated holographic displays showing human technological assessments. The data painted a picture that challenged everything the Council believed about civilization development. Our observations were accurate but incomplete, Morden reported. Humans do possess the basic technologies we detected, but they also developed advanced systems in secret, using methods we don't understand. Their AI networks incorporate randomness and chaos in ways that should make them not. Fleet Admiral Kresh of the Draconian Armada was studying tactical displays with growing concern. The human ships that had appeared around Nexus Prime showed energy signatures unlike anything in the galactic databases. Their dimensional fold technology surpasses our own capabilities, Kresh admitted reluctantly. If they can move ships instantly across galactic distances, traditional military strategy becomes meaningless. Our fleets could be outmaneuvered before we even detect their movement. Elder Zorth of the Kepler hegemony spoke for the first time in decades, his ancient voice carrying the weight of eons. I have witnessed the rise and fall of countless civilizations. What we face now is something genuinely new. These humans evolved on a world that forced them to adapt or die. They learned to turn limitation into strength. The Council's xenobiologists had been frantically revising their assessments of human evolution. Earth's harsh environment had created something unprecedented, a species that developed intelligence through conflict rather than cooperation. Most species evolve on stable worlds with abundant resources, Chief Biologist Yoltith explained. They develop technology slowly and peacefully. Humans evolved on a death world where only the most adaptable survived. This created minds that can innovate under pressure. The revelation about other species supporting humanity had sent shockwaves through the Council's intelligence networks. For the first time, they faced organized opposition to their authority. The Kepler Resistance, the Free Traders of Vega, and the Outer Rim colonies have all pledged support to Earth, reported Security Chief Veldarun. Species we thought were loyal have been planning rebellion for decades. The humans gave them hope that change was possible. Turgash activated the chamber's tactical displays, showing the positions of Council fleets throughout the galaxy. Even with overwhelming numerical superiority, the strategic situation was more complex than any previous conflict. If we choose war, we face not just humanity but a coalition of species with access to their advanced technologies, Turgash analyzed. Our forces are designed to maintain order against isolated rebellions, not fight a coordinated resistance. Movement, the Veil Collective's computational networks strained to process scenarios involving human behavior. Every strategic model failed when applied to a species that valued unpredictability as a survival trait. We cannot predict their actions, the speaker admitted. Traditional diplomatic pressure assumes rational actors who value preservation above all else. Humans appear willing to risk everything for concepts like freedom and equality. Dr. K attempted another empathic reading of the human delegation, but the results only increased his confusion. They fear nothing we can threaten them with. Admiral Morrison genuinely believes humanity can win a war against the entire Council. More disturbing, she appears to be correct. Veltar struggled to maintain order as debate raged through the chamber. The Council had governed through unanimous consent for millions of years. Now they faced their first genuine disagreement about fundamental principles. Some of you advocate for war, others counsel negotiation, Veltar observed. But we must also consider that the humans may be right. Perhaps our methods have grown stagnant. Perhaps the galaxy needs change. The suggestions sent shockwaves through beings who had never questioned their own authority. For 2 million years, the Council had believed they represented the pinnacle of galactic evolution. The humans challenged that assumption by existing as they were. Councillor Drextel of the Vorthon Syndicate, who had privately advocated for humanity's destruction, found his position increasingly isolated. If we yield to these demands, every species in the galaxy will expect equal treatment. Our carefully maintained order will collapse. Perhaps it should, Elder Zorth replied calmly. We have prevented war by eliminating anyone strong enough to challenge us. But we have also prevented growth. The galaxy has been static for 1 million years. As dawn broke over Nexus Prime, the Council remained deadlocked. Some members feared losing their privileged position. Others recognized that humanity represented something the galaxy had been missing, the chaos and creativity that drove real innovation. Outside the conference chamber, Admiral Morrison waited patiently for the Council's decision. She knew that aliens were struggling with concepts they had never needed to consider. For the first time in their existence, they faced equals who couldn't be bullied or eliminated. The vote that would reshape galactic civilization was still hours away. But already, the universe was changing. The Council's absolute authority had been challenged, and regardless of their decision, nothing would ever be the same. Humanity had come to join the galaxy. Whether that happened through negotiation or conquest would depend on choices the Council was still afraid to make. Dawn light filtered through the massive windows of Council Chamber 7 as the aliens reconvened for their final decision. 18 hours of heated debate had revealed cracks in what had once been unshakable unity. The humans waited in a side chamber, but their presence could be felt throughout the station like a storm that was about to break. Admiral Kate Morrison returned to the speaking platform with her delegation. The Council members looked tired and uncertain, no longer the confident rulers who had expected to conduct a routine evaluation. Something fundamental had changed in the galaxy overnight. Honored Council members, Kate began, we understand you need time to consider our proposal. But before you vote, there are additional facts you should know. She activated a quantum communication device that connected directly to Earth. The chamber's main display suddenly showed President Alina Rodriguez in the White House Situation Room. surrounded by representatives from every human nation. Members of the Galactic Council, Alina said, her voice carrying clearly across 60 light-years. I speak for all of humanity when I say that we seek partnership, not conflict, but we will not accept subordination to any power that seeks to limit our potential. The real-time communication across such vast distances shocked the Council members. No species had ever achieved instantaneous quantum entanglement over galactic ranges. The implications for trade, diplomacy, and military coordination were staggering. Dr. Amy Watson stepped forward and activated humanity's most impressive demonstration yet. The Endeavour disappeared from its docking port and reappeared on the opposite side of the star system in the space of a heartbeat. The ship had traveled millions of kilometers without crossing the space between. Our dimensional fold technology doesn't just move ships quickly, Watson explained. It removes them from normal space entirely. Time, distance, and physical barriers become meaningless. We can reach any point in the galaxy instantly. Commander Jake Phillips displayed strategic information that made several council members grip their seats in alarm. The data showed human ships positioned throughout galactic space, invisible to all detection methods, but ready to appear wherever needed. Earth's defensive perimeter extends far beyond our solar system, Phillips reported, calmly. Our ships are currently stationed near major alien worlds, not as a threat, but as proof that distance no longer protects anyone from anyone else. High Commander Turgash felt his crystal skin grow cold as he realized the implications. Traditional military doctrine assumed that fleets needed time to move between star systems. If humans could appear anywhere instantly, conventional defenses became useless. The Veil Collective's hive mind struggled to process the strategic ramifications. Their carefully calculated fleet positions were meaningless if the enemy could bypass space itself. For beings who valued logical planning, the situation was terrifying. Kate delivered humanity's final terms with the precision of someone who had thought through every possible response. The Galactic Council can welcome Earth as an equal partner, sharing technology and responsibility for governing galactic civilization, or you can attempt to force us into submission and face the consequences. What consequences? Archon Veltar demanded, his energy form crackling with desperate authority. You are one species against an empire that spans the galaxy. Kate's expression remained calm, but her next words changed everything. Actually, we're not alone. The Altarian Free State declared independence from your empire 2 hours ago. The Vega Confederation has announced they will no longer recognize Council authority. 17 other species are preparing similar declarations. The chamber erupted in chaos as Council members realized their empire was fragmenting in real time. Species that had been loyal for thousands of years were suddenly asserting independence, knowing that humanity's advanced technology could protect them from retaliation. Dr. Lisa Chang activated displays showing revolutions spreading across the galaxy. Worlds that had accepted Council rule for millennia were declaring their freedom. The humans hadn't just challenged the Council's authority, they had provided hope and capability to every species that had dreamed of independence. This is what happens when people realize they don't have to accept oppression, Chang observed. The galaxy is much larger than 12 species. There are thousands of civilizations ready to govern themselves if given the chance. The vote that followed split the Council for the first time in recorded history. The Zephyrians and Meridian Federation recognized that cooperation offered better outcomes than war. The Chronarch Empire and their allies voted for military action, believing that humanity's challenge to the established order could not be tolerated. The Veil Collective abstained, their hive mind paralyzed by unprecedented uncertainty. Several smaller council members voted with humanity, recognizing which way the galactic winds were blowing. The deciding vote came from Elder Zorth of the Kepler hegemony. The ancient being rose slowly from his seat and spoke with the authority of someone who had witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations. I have governed this galaxy for longer than most stars have existed, Zorth said quietly. I have seen peace, maintained through fear, and order imposed through strength, but I have also seen stagnation. For 1,000,000 years, nothing truly new has emerged from our empire. He turned to face the human delegation. These beings offer something we have forgotten, the ability to grow and change. They represent chaos, but chaos is the source of all innovation. Perhaps it is time for the galaxy to evolve. The final vote was closer than anyone expected. 7 species for partnership with humanity, 4 for war, and 1 abstain. For the first time in galactic history, the Council had chosen change over stability. 6 months later, Earth's embassy on Nexus Prime hummed with activity as human diplomats worked alongside representatives from dozens of newly independent worlds. The Galactic Council still existed, but it governed through consensus rather than dominance. Admiral Morrison, now serving as Earth's first galactic ambassador, reviewed reports from human exploration fleets pushing deeper into unknown space. The galaxy was transforming as species long suppressed by Council authority began developing new technologies and forming new alliances. The Council members who had voted for war maintained an uneasy peace, knowing that direct conflict would trigger the defensive alliance humanity had built. Some species adapted to the new reality better than others. Targash had become an unlikely ally, his warrior culture respecting humanity's strength and tactical brilliance. The Veil Collective struggled with the concept of individual decision-making but were learning to appreciate human unpredictability. Dr. Watson's technology exchanges had revolutionized galactic civilization. Human AI systems were solving problems that had challenged alien scientists for millennia. Medical advances were extending lifespans across multiple species. Transportation networks using dimensional fold technology were connecting distant worlds in ways previously impossible. But the most important change was philosophical. The galaxy no longer operated on the assumption that older civilizations automatically deserved to rule younger ones. Merit and capability mattered more than age and tradition. Kate stood in her embassy office, looking out at the stars through a window that showed real-time images from anywhere in the galaxy. Humanity had achieved something unprecedented. They had joined galactic civilization as equals rather than subjects. The Council had expected to evaluate another primitive species seeking guidance and protection. Instead, they had encountered humanity. Humans had never been content to follow rules they hadn't helped to write. The universe was indeed more interesting when humans were involved. The aliens had learned that lesson the hard way, but for those willing to adapt, the future promised wonders that none of them could have imagined alone. Humanity had surprised the Galactic Council, but the biggest surprise was still coming. In the vast darkness between galaxies, ancient threats were stirring. The galaxy would need every advantage it could get, including the chaotic creativity that made humans so dangerous and so valuable. The Council hadn't braced for humanity's surprise. Now they would discover whether the galaxy was ready for what came next.